Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Medicare presentation. We are going to give everyone just till 12:02 to sign in and get their audio set up. You know how technology can be, so we will start right at 12:02. Welcome. You still just have a couple people working on their audio, getting all hooked up and ready to go. If you're just joining us, welcome. Welcome to our Medicare presentation. We're going to give everyone one more minute to get their audio set up. We appreciate that you being on time. And we'll start right at 12:02. All right, 12:02, it is time. My name is Sarah Wallace. I am on the right side there. I'm here today with Karen Anderson.
Hi, everybody. I'm here from Buffalo, New York.
I'm over here in Liverpool, and we're here to talk about retirement and Medicare. The first question probably coming to mind is why AAA? And AAA saw that this was a really daunting task understanding all the different pathways possible with Medicare. So they brought on experts, that's me and Karen, to help you understand the different pieces, the timelines involved, and your options. We want to make sure to avoid any financial risk that comes along with signing up for Medicare at the wrong time, either late. So we're here to help you identify your path through Medicare.
And I think, Sarah, another thing that I could mention here that's um, a great value added benefit for AAA members is that we're we are we are a brokerage. So in other words, we don't represent just one Medicare company. And we're not trying to sell like a AAA Medicare insurance plan. We contract with several insurance carriers, so we can work with our members, representing each individual member and their needs, and then together we can shop for plans for our members and find a plan that's best for you. So not only are we hoping to educate our loyal AAA members about Medicare, but we want to find out what is best for them based on whatever the needs are. And then we can do the comparison shopping for you and find a plan that's best for you. I think
Right.
that's a great feature.
It's an amazing feature. We are loyal to our AAA members. We'll find the best option for you. So today, regarding retirement, we're going to talk about a couple topics here. We'll talk about timelines and enrollment periods, Medicare and retiree insurance and how they may work together, and we'll finish off with your responsibilities. The very first question you've got to ask yourself is, when are you going to retire? And everyone falls into three different categories. Some people retire under the age of 65. And if this is the case, you must find your own health insurance until you're eligible for Medicare. This could come off the marketplace. This could come from a spouse. Some employers offer retiree insurance. Whatever the case is, under 65, you are responsible for your own health insurance until you reach 65. At that point, you are eligible for Medicare. If you're retiring at 65, you're going to want to talk to your HR or benefits coordinator to identify if they offer any coverage and how long are they offering said coverage after your retirement. So you're going to see if they have a plan for you, right? Some employers do, state employers definitely do. So if you're retiring at 65, you want to know what coverage is offered to you and how long it lasts. If you're retiring 3 or more months after your 65th birthday, you're going to make sure you have what is called creditable coverage. We'll go further into this, but you need creditable coverage for both Part B as in boy and D as in dog. One important thing is to remember if you're not retiring at 65 is the policy holder must be actively working. So if you're under a spouse's plan, you have to make sure that spouse is still working to be able to delay signing up for Medicare. If you are going to continue to work and you do have creditable coverage, you're going to have proof of coverage for every year you delay Medicare. This is provided by your employer. Your HR representative will be able to give this to you. So you've got to stack those up and keep those in your file up until the time of retirement. Understanding when you're going to retire helps you identify which enrollment period you're going to use to retire. So let's go into those. The initial enrollment period is where you are at 65. This starts 3 months prior to, includes the month of, and goes 3 months after your 65th birthday. So this 7th month window is when you get inundated with all that mail, all of the plan information. If it says Social Security, please make sure you open it. That's very important mail to get at this time. But that is called your initial enrollment period. And if you're retiring at 65, this is the enrollment period you will be using. If you are not retiring at 65 and you have creditable coverage, you are good to go until it's time to retire. Retirement is an event that triggers a special enrollment period, at which time you can sign up for Medicare. You have 8 months from the day you retire or the day your health coverage ends, whichever is first. You have 8 months from that date to sign up for Parts A and B, also known as Original Medicare. Now, Original Medicare leaves you open to 20% risk. So you want to make sure you have comprehensive care. And to do that, you're going to sign up for a Medicare Advantage plan, a Medicare Supplement plan, or a Part D prescription drug plan. You only have 3 months from the day you retire or the day your health coverage ends to enroll in the Advantage Supplement or Part D plans. So that's what I really want you to focus on. If you are retiring after 65, you only have 3 months after retirement to make sure you have comprehensive coverage. So come talk to us before you retire, just so you know what you're going to choose at the right time. This is a government program. You've got to work with a government agency. They're not known for their timeliness. So the sooner you start this process, the better you are ready for retirement. Moving forward, let's talk about Medicare and retiree insurance. We're going to do a very high-level overview of Medicare. We could spend the whole day on this slide. Instead, I'll let you know we have a Medicare 101 webinar if you'd like more information about all of the parts and pieces and how they work together. But for today, we're just going to do that high-level overview so you have an understanding of what each part means moving forward through our presentation. So Part A and B, again, known as Original Medicare, Part A pays for the room and board in the hospital. So I want you to think of this kind of like the hotel bill. It only covers the room and board. Part B, as in boy, is your medical coverage, and it's only going to cover 80% of your medical costs. Now that leaves a 20% risk to you. 20% of the cost of one doctor's appointment isn't too bad, but 20% of a hospitalization, it's daunting. So you want to make sure that you shore up your risk and you get either the Advantage or Supplement plan at the right time. So A and B is original Medicare. We're going to move over to prescription drug care. That's Part D as in dog or Part D as in drug. And this is a government mandated level of prescription drug coverage that all individuals over the age of 65 must maintain to avoid lifelong penalties. So you're going to want to make sure you're signed up for this and have this level of coverage. A Medicare Advantage and a Medicare Supplement plan, those are both provided by private insurance carriers. These are the plans that will help you cover that 20% risk. We again can go very deep into the differences, but what I want you to remember for today is your Medicare Advantage plan usually includes your drug coverage, where your supplement plan, you'll have to pick up a separate Part D. So if you go the way of an Advantage plan, you're going to use just one card, where if you have a supplement plan, you're going to use 3 cards, your Part A and B, your supplement plan, and your Part D prescription drug plan. These are both very good options, and which one to choose depends on your medical journey. It depends on what prescriptions you're taking, what doctors you like to go see, are they in network, and how often you use your health insurance. That's a high level overview of the different pieces. Next is our retiree insurance. And not every employer offers this, but it's important to see if there's something that they do offer you. This is a trust but verify kind of situation. If they do offer you retiree insurance, is it really a good plan? So here's some questions you're going to ask your HR or your benefits coordinator at work. And Karen and I can help you understand and compare that plan to what's on the market today. So the questions you're going to ask: does your employer offer you health insurance after you retire? What are those costs and coverages? How does this work with Medicare when you're eligible? And is the plan they're offering you considered creditable for Part B and Part D, so both that medical insurance and that prescription drug coverage? Medicare and other coverages work together. So some individuals, and you may already experience this, will have multiple coverages. If you do have multiple insurance plan, each one is designated as a payer. The primary payer is going to pay first and only pays up to the limits of its coverage. The secondary will pay second if and only if there are costs the primary insured didn't cover, and if those costs are covered under the secondary plan. A couple of examples of this in real life and who would pay first are on the screen here for you. So the first one is if you're going to work past 65 and your company has 20 or more employees, well, then your employer plan would be your primary and Medicare would be your secondary. Now, a good example of this, Part A is an entitlement to those individuals who have paid into the Medicare tax for 10 years or 40 quarters. So even if you continue to work past 65, for the most part, you can get Part A as an entitlement, so you won't pay for a monthly premium. Most people will sign up for this since they don't have to pay for it. And if that's the case, that Part A would be a secondary payer if they continue to work. If you're going to continue to work past 65 and your company has less than 20 employees, Medicare is going to be your primary payer, and then your employer plan will become the secondary. It's important if your employer insurance is a secondary payer that you sign up for Part B, Part A and B, before your insurance will pay anything out of that employer plan. So if Medicare is your primary payer, you have to sign up for them. It's very important to do. If you have a retiree insurance plan through your employer, your primary payer will be Medicare, and your secondary will be those retiree benefits. And if you're on COBRA, Medicare will be your primary payer, and COBRA will be your secondary. So we can help you understand if it would be advantageous to sign up for certain parts of Medicare, or if you're completely okay to delay signing up for Medicare because of your insurance through your employer. So now we understand the timelines involved and a little bit about how the pieces work together. The next steps are your responsibilities, and Karen Anderson's going to walk you through those.
Okay, Sarah, thanks so much for that. All right, everybody, let's talk a little bit about responsibilities as far as signing up for Medicare. And as you're joining us today, I'm sure you probably already have an idea of when you plan to retire, and that's great. It's a great time of life and moving forward. And congratulations on reaching this milestone. The main thing that we're doing with these webinars is we want to get the information out to, particularly about helping you avoid any potential lifelong penalties in the event that you sign up late for parts B and part D. So these webinars are a great guide for you. And we encourage you to call, make an appointment with me and Sarah, and we can help you along with this too. But let's go into signing up for Medicare, particularly keeping in mind parts B and D. So if you decide you're retiring at 65, you've been counting down the days, you're reaching 65 and you're in a good place and you're ready to retire. Assuming that you do not already assuming you're not already receiving Social Security benefits, contact the Social Security office. The Social Security Administration is charged, excuse me, with enrollments in Medicare. You can go online to enroll. And we have that information available for you on the screen. You can call the 1-800 number and enroll over the phone. You can even call locally for a personal appointment. But either one of these options will get you enrolled in Medicare when you're retiring at 65. But let's say you decide that you're 65 and you're not retiring, you're just getting started. That's wonderful too. If you decide to continue working after 65, that's perfectly fine. You will be doing what's called delaying your Medicare. And the most important thing that you can do is to be sure that the health insurance that you have, whether it's through your own employer or you're with your spouse's health insurance, just be sure that that coverage is considered creditable. And the benefit counselor, the benefit coordinators, they will know this, and it's just standard operation for them to send out every year a statement of creditable, I'm sorry, coverage for your health insurance, and that includes Part B and Part D. Keep those handy because you're going to need those for proof of creditable coverage past the age of 65. So there's not a whole lot that you have to do if you decide to continue working after 65. Just be sure that you maintain creditable health insurance coverage, either through your own employer or through your spouse. The other thing to consider too is if your benefits coordinator, if your employer has things set up so that the group health plan requires you to sign up when you turn 65, then you have to sign up. Another thing to consider too is this is a time when you start to crunch the numbers as well. And this is why it would be great if you could give me or Sarah a call, make an appointment, because you can continue working. And if it's to your advantage, you can drop your health insurance coverage through your employer and go on to Medicare. So that option is available to you as well. But remember, this isn't just about you. You've got your spouse to consider as well. We'll go into that in just a couple more slides. So as far as the Part D creditable coverage, again, we want you to avoid any possible lifelong penalties that might be incurred if you either don't sign up on time or if you do not have proof of creditable coverage for Part B or Part D. So again, creditable coverage, that's the government mandated minimum coverage, in this case for Part D prescription drugs. So if you're retiring at 65, and again, in the event that you have retiree insurance, is it creditable coverage? If it's not creditable coverage, you may need to have what's called a standalone prescription drug plan, and Sarah and I can help with that. If you're retiring after 65 and not covered, a prescription drug plan is necessary to avoid penalties. And we can walk you through these plan options. Generally, your prescription drug plans your prescription coverage is attached to your health insurance policy, but not in all cases. So be sure that you ask particularly about your prescription drug coverage if it's creditable. If you're retiring after 65 and you're covered, just save the annual notice that your company will be sending out for proving credibility. So you'll need that just to avoid any late penalties for Part D.
I want to pause here real quick and just note again, I know we've said it a couple times, but it's very important. It doesn't matter if you're retiring after 65 or at 65. Everyone has a responsibility here to make sure they're covered at the proper level to avoid penalties, and then to also keep that notice of creditable coverage on hand year over year until it's time to sign up for Medicare.
And just a note about health savings accounts. Not all of us have health savings accounts with our employers, but for those of you who do, just be sure that you stop making contributions to your health savings account at least 6 months before you apply for Medicare. Reach out to the financial insurance institution that houses that account. You want to avoid any tax penalties. So that's why we always advise when you have your retirement date set, be sure that you cut off those savings accounts contributions for a health savings account. Now, as far as spousal coverage is concerned, we indicated that just a couple of slides before. And we want to just be sure to bring awareness to you as far as spousal coverage is concerned. Well, with Medicare, there is none. That's going to be a complete change. And for some people, it can be a little discombobulating to make that switch. There are no family plans in Medicare. So when you're thinking about retirement, it's not all about you. You have to have your spouse in there as well. So, and if I could just use myself as an example with my husband, Ron. My husband decided to go on Medicare at the age of 65. He just started in January. He's still employed, but due to his health conditions, it was much more advantageous for him to go on to Medicare. So he dropped his health insurance through his employer and went on to Medicare, and he's still working full time. However, I was on his insurance plan at work through his employer. So if he were to have dropped his plan, that would have left me without health coverage. Well, you can't do that. So what were my options? Well, I could either go on to the state health insurance plans, or I could go through my employer. And that's what I did. So my husband, when he decided to do this, he dropped his health insurance through his employer, went on to Medicare, and then I went on to my insurance, my employer's insurance. So that's how that worked out for us. So be sure that if your spouse is included with you on your insurance plan, that they are going to determine what kind of coverage they are going to continue with. And if you are on their insurance plan, you have to be sure that they stay working so that you are covered as well. So even though you'll be going off into your own Medicare plan, you still need to work together to decide how you're going to accomplish that. It's not that difficult. You just need to be aware of that as well. Let me see here. Just remember too, that your spouse, you or your spouse, have to remain actively employed. And by actively employed, that means you're actually going into work. You're not on a layoff or COBRA or workers' compensation, things like that. So we just want to be sure that you're aware to avoid any penalties for Parts B and Parts D. So as far as next steps are concerned, we would just be so glad if you could give me or Sarah a call and make an appointment. We know that this can be confusing, and I hope I haven't made it more confusing for you trying to explain this. I mean, it all makes sense in my mind, but sometimes when I try to explain it, I don't do quite as well. But
Well, and
let
has
us.
different paths. There are so many options in Medicare. You're going to be talking to your friends, your family, your coworkers, and their path might not be the same as yours. They might not use their health coverage as much as you need. They're not on the same prescriptions and they're not seeing the same doctors. So that's why there's so many questions and so many different ways that Medicare can be entered into.
Right, right. And we want you to move forward into retirement feeling confident and not feeling overly concerned about this. It is something that you definitely have to pay attention to. This is not the easiest thing to navigate, but with some direction and with some ideas from you, we'll all work together to decide what's best. So we want to thank you so much for attending this webinar. But if you still have questions, set an appointment with us. If you're retiring within 6 months, schedule an appointment 2 months before you retire. And be sure you reach out to your HR department and talk to your benefits consultant and make sure they're giving you the answers that you need. If you're retiring outside of 6 months, stay connected with Medicare.gov. You can always reach out to us with any questions at any time. And we're here to get you there through Medicare. So thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar, and we'd be very happy to talk to you. Please give us your feedback or let us know what we can do to help. Again, I'm Karen Anderson. I'm over here in the Buffalo area, and you'll see my information there. And Sarah, do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I'm over here in Liverpool, but guys, AAA goes from Buffalo to Syracuse, Watertown to Ithaca. We're here for our community. We can help you. We can help your friends and families. We're not just here for members. We're here for everyone who has questions about Medicare. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for choosing AAA and have a great day.
Yes, thanks everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.